Okay, good afternoon everybody. Now I'm back with episode 7 of Martin Talks, in which for today's film that I'm going to be reviewing, it's going to be a 1986 comedy film, and it was released by Paramount Pictures, and I'm sure you all know what this is, as the movie that I'm reviewing today is none other than Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which this film, it stars Matthew Broderick as Ferris Bueller, and it also has Alan Ruck as Cameron and Mia Sara as Sloane Peterson. Also has Edie McClurg in there. Oh, and it has Jeffrey Jones as Ed Rooney, who is the dean of students at the school. And of course, I can't remember which actors play Ferris's parents, and we know it also has Jennifer Grey playing Ferris's sister Jeannie. And there's also even a cameo appearance from Charlie Sheen in there as well, of course. And speaking of Jennifer Grey, we know she's currently on this season of Dancing with the Stars, and I saw the results show last night, and I know Jennifer's dancing with Derek Huff, and I'm happy that I know Jennifer is in the semifinals, so yeah, it's fun. And this DVD of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, this is the Bueller edition. The Bueller also has Ben Stein in there in this film playing the home economics teacher. He keeps repeatedly saying Bueller. And anyways, we have the spine and the back, and it says Bueller, and it has all these special features. There was also another DVD released prior to that didn't contain those features, but that DVD release also had a commentary. This one doesn't, but this is actually better since the other features make up for it. I'm gonna open this up because I got this at Target back in 2008. No DVD guide, and it's on a regular gray disc, but hey, I don't mind that. It's good. The film is rated PG-13, but hey, that's all. And this is the only release I have. I don't have it on video, but this DVD is good, and I'll now tell you what the plot line is, because as you know, Ferris Bueller, he's almost at the end of his senior year in high school, and somehow he's pretending to fake an illness lately, as Jeffrey Jones has found out that Ferris has been truant, which means, if you know what truant is, that means Ferris has been skipping school without good cause. And in one of the quotes he says, "So far, Ferris has missed school 9 times." That's right, 9 times. That's right, 9 absences. And if Ed Rooney, that's right, Ed Rooney, the dean of students, if Mr. Rooney catches Ferris, then he would would say that he'd be holding Ferris back for another year, which means he wants another year of high school. Of course, Cameron is also not feeling good, but Ferris wants Cameron to come over. And then, well, of course, Sloane Peterson is in school, but there's a fake phone call first stating that Sloane's grandmother passed away as the nurse came over, and that's right, because Sloane is. But then it's a fake thing, and when Ferris puts on a disguise, I see. That's when he and Cameron come to pick Sloane up at school, and then all three are off, and of course, meanwhile, Ferris' sister Jeannie, she's at school. She has that thing of the Save Ferris campaign. Of course, Jeannie also doesn't believe that Ferris is sick. But of course, after that Ferris, Sloane and Cameron, they're out heading into big downtown Chicago, where they enjoy some fun on the town. The car that they drive is a Ferrari, which Cameron's father owns. But we also know that throughout the town, we also know that even though it's in Chicago, Illinois, Cameron is wearing a Detroit Red Wings jersey. Because it represents one of his favorite players. So I know Nick would like this part. I think Nick would like Cameron in this movie, so he'd love Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So yeah, Nick will be mine. Of course, those three, they take the Ferrari and they leave it with the parking attendants, and then all those three do other things around town, including dining at an upscale restaurant called Chez Qui, which ironically, this is the restaurant where Ferris's father goes to, but that's okay. Ferris pretends he fakes Abe Foreman for having to go for the reservation, and then of course after that, there's, those three also visit an art museum and Cameron's somehow looking at that Georges Seurat's famous painting. I can't remember the title, but that one is pointillism in terms of art, but I won't mention that. Of course, they also attend. Those three also attend the baseball game at Wrigley Field, where the Chicago Cubs play. And of course, the most notable thing of all is when Ferris gets onto a float in the middle of a big parade, which he then lip syncs to 2 songs. The first is Donkey Shane, as performed by Wayne Newton, which was back when he was still a kid when he did it. But the other big song that he does, he also lip syncs to, but all the others doing it. I know all Beatle fans would love this because he also lip syncs to the Beatles song Twist and Shout, which even causes the horns to play some notes in, and it even causes the crowd to even go the like that, just like the Beatles scream does in the original recording. I mean, that scene was so popular that that Twist and Shout would somehow be back out on the charts back then, even though the Beatles had already broken up 16 years prior. But of course, after that, all this time, of course, we know. Meanwhile, Jeannie, she returns home and she finds Mr. Rooney there, and of course, she makes a prank phone call while thinking Mr. Rooney's a burglar, and Jean gets sent to the police station, where that's when she sees a criminal's name. His name isn't revealed in the film, but that's the criminal, that's the role that Charlie Sheen plays in that. But of course, then we know later Ferris's mother comes to pick Jean up at the station. But of course, then meanwhile after that we know, when Ferris, Cameron, and Sloane return to Cameron's house, we know they have something on the blame. Of course, Ferris accidentally destroys the Ferrari, due to it having added miles, because they got their Ferrari back from the parking attendants, because they took the Ferrari out on a joyride. But of course, after that Cameron still says he'll take the blame. And of course, then there's a scene which has Ferris and Sloane briefly mentioning, and she just tells about the fun time. But then Ferris realizes that it's 5:55 p.m. and must get back home in 5 minutes. Ferris does return home, but however, Mr. Rooney finds Ferris and mentions the other year's school. But then Jeannie comes over and stops all this, and they get back inside. Ferris gets back into his bed, and he finds and with that his parents come back in, and Ferris says that he shouldn't feel sick and wants to finish school, and it has a good thing. And then after that, the film ends and it has a funny credit sequence when you see Mr. Rooney all damaged up and heading back onto the bus back to school, which we even hear that great song which goes the oh yeah like that which is used. That's so fun in that. Of course, after the credits roll, we actually see one final scene, which, since Ferris also breaks the fourth wall in this film and talks to the viewers, the most memorable quote which he says at the end of the film, he says, "What? Are you still here? It's over! Go home!" But then after that, that's when the film then fades to black. But of course, after all, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is an extremely funny comedy movie, one of the best that Paramount's ever made. I think it's the best film that the late John Hughes has ever directed, and John Hughes made so many movies in the 80s, along with 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Uncle Buck, and all that. But this one's probably my favorite John Hughes film that he's ever directed. It's only my second favorite John Hughes film of all time, behind the Home Alone movies, but still Ferris Bueller's Day Off is still fantastic. Give it a perfect 10, so I recommend this to everyone, as it's a very funny movie indeed. Okay, that wraps it up for episode 7 of Martin Talks. I hope you all enjoyed it. And then for my next episode, for episode 8, you will definitely not want to miss this episode, because for episode 8 of Martin Talks, I will be reviewing my all-time favorite Disney animated movie classic, Beauty and the Beast. So be sure to stick around for that. But in the meantime, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again soon for my next video. So until then, have a good day.